Folks, it's over, or it's close to it. If it's not over, it's close to it. I'm at that point where I think we are at a point of no return.
Did you see what just happened to Angel Reese, an Unrivaled league the numbers are in? And they're not pretty at all. Reese came in talking big, saying she was just as big a draw as Caitlin Clark. But guess what? The ratings tell a whole different story. You might be thinking, how bad could it be? Well, let me tell you, it's worse than you can imagine. Unrivaled viewership has dropped by more than half in just 3 weeks. Can you believe it? We're talking 300,000 viewers on opening night to a measly 140,000. Now, and that's just the beginning of the shocking downfall.
I think we have hit a level where there are problems and they are starting to punch you right in the face. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the Unrivaled television ratings from Friday night, their best night, and they are bad. They just keep getting worse.
You know how they say the truth hurts? Well, Unrivaled ratings are screaming the truth. And it's not just hurting, it's a full-on knockout punch. Remember, that big opening night for Unrivaled, 300,000 viewers tuned in ready for some game-changing basketball. Everyone was hyped, thinking this league was about to revolutionize women's hoops, but guess what happened next?
The ratings to start Unrivaled were over 300,000 for each game on their first night. And at the time, I was very clear on my opinion of that. I said categorically, this is not good. And it was not good because you only go this way. You peak your first night, you peak. You're not going to have these things go up, especially if the play isn't of a certain level. And that was the biggest concern that I had, was the level of play of which we have seen is not the greatest. In fact, it's largely terrible.
The ratings didn't just dip, they took a nosedive faster than a player flopping for a foul call. We're talking a 50% drop in just 3 weeks. That's like losing half your fans overnight. By week 3, only 140,000 people were watching. Can you imagine throwing a party and half your guests just up and leave? That's basically what happened to Unrivaled.
I want you to keep in mind something. In comparison to the debut week, Angel Reese's debut game with the Rose BC Basketball Club has lost over half of its viewership.
So what's going on here? Is it the lack of star power, the overhyped promises? Or maybe people are just tuning out because they're not seeing the level of play they expected. Whatever it is, the experts are saying this isn't just a bump in the road, it's a full-on crisis.
Scratch that. More than half of its opening night audience within 3 weeks. We see numbers of 310,000, 320,000. 3 weeks later, 140,000 viewers for Unrivaled. More than half of the audience has disappeared. Oh no, say it ain't so.
Now you're probably wondering, what about Angel Reese? Isn't she supposed to be the big draw? Well, here's the kicker that'll make your jaw drop. Reese's games are the lowest rated in the entire league. We're talking viewership numbers of 76,000 and 89,000. That's not just bad, that's maybe we should have stuck to Instagram bad.
Angel Reese has the 2 lowest rated games in this entire thing. And we might find out by tomorrow that the game on Saturday that she played is the 3rd lowest, or maybe the lowest rated game thus far. But she has the number 1 and number 2 for lowest watch games, 76,000 and 89,000.
Remember all that talk about Reese being just as much of a draw as Caitlin Clark? Yeah, about that the numbers are painting a pretty clear picture. And it's not the masterpiece Unrivaled was hoping for. It's more like a kindergartner finger painting messy and hard to make sense.
Where are your fans, Angel? Why aren't they supporting you, Angel? Why aren't they supporting this league, Angel? I ask you the question. And I asked that question because Angel Reese's game on Friday night just had the lowest ratings of every Friday night game.
But here's where it gets really interesting. The league isn't just losing viewers, it's hemorrhaging them if Unrivaled doesn't pull a rabbit out of its hat. Soon we might see numbers drop below 50,000 in the coming weeks. That's not a league, that's a glorified pickup game with a few extra cameras.
We start getting there. Saturday coverage, 98,000 on True TV alone. On True TV alone, but they must not have counted TNT. It wasn't on TNT. It was on True TV only. Okay? It was on True TV only. So no TNT numbers, no HBO Max numbers. Lunar Owls on True TV, 118,000. Missed Rose on True TV, 76,000.
So what's next for Unrivaled? Because right now it's looking less like a revolution and more like a cautionary tale. They need to do something fast signed. Some real stars overhaul their marketing, maybe hire a magician to keep people's attention. Because if they don't, we might be witnessing the fastest flameout in sports league history.
Angel Reese. Unrivaled basketball. Now 190 is better than 140, but both are better than the week prior and both are better than the opening night. We are headed on a downward spiral. Fast. This is falling fast, folks. This is going fast.
Remember when Angel Reese strutted into Unrivaled claiming she'd light up the league like Caitlin Clark? Yeah, about that. And her performances making fans change the channel faster than you can say airball. And what's really going on with the self-proclaimed face of women's basketball.
Yesterday, how in the hell could y'all call for the coach to get fired when she got 4 points in 8 damn minutes, bro? She had to get benched. She's been playing bad the whole time she's been at Unrivaled, bro.
Let's break it down because the numbers are wild. Reese is the 21st in rank out of 36 total players in the entire Unrivaled league in points per game, averaging just 10. 9 points and 1. 7 assists per game, so much for being the face of Unrivaled. You might be thinking that's not so bad, right? Wrong, those are role player stats, not superstar numbers. Can you believe it? The player who is supposed to be the next big thing is putting up benchwarmer numbers.
Guys, we talk about this all the time. We do. I don't know what it is. She gets ejected, only plays 7 minutes, and her team wins. I mean, how does that happen? She had 15 rebounds. It just so happened she had 5 offensive ones and she missed 5 shots. I'm just throwing that out there. But wow. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why that happens, but the less she plays, the more successful her team.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Reese's team actually played better after she got ejected. You heard that, right? The moment she left the court, her teammate started balling out like they'd been baptized in basketball greatness. How does that even happen? Your star player gets tossed, and suddenly everyone else remembers how to play.
I thought it would have a massive impact on the game negatively for the Rose, but it actually did not, surprisingly enough. I thought they would completely gas out. And they didn't, which I found to be rather shocking.
Now, you might be wondering, at least she's making headlines, right? Sure, if you count being the first player in Unrivaled history to get ejected as a good thing, that's not exactly the kind of record-breaking we were hoping for. Instead of highlight reels, we're getting low-light reels.
It's a disaster. It's an unmitigated disaster. And they won't fix the rules to help try to make it better. You are losing every casual fan there is. Angel Reese fans, whatever ones she had that she claims that it was because of me too, have walked. They've completely walked. Why? Because they're seeing that she can't compete in this very, very well.
Let's talk about attitude for a second. Coaches are starting to raise some eyebrows. Her Unrivaled coach even said she's still a super young player who's growing and learning. That's coach speak. For she needs to get it together. It's not just about scoring points. It's about being a team player. And right now, Reese is looking more like a solo act in a league that needs harmony.
Her frustration completely. She'll just, she'll grow from that in terms of keeping her composure because she had 15 rebounds. Who's to say she wouldn't have been able to do that in the second half and then end up having 25 to 30 rebounds. So my conversation was just, I just wanted clarity around, what she said just so that I could have a conversation with her. After the game about it, but still a super young player, so she's growing and learning.
You know what's really wild? All the buzz around Reese isn't even about her game anymore. It's all drama. All the time social media is blowing up, but not because of her crossovers or clutch shots. Nope. It's all about the controversy. People are tuning in to see what she'll do next, not how many baskets she'll make.
I think so many people are watching women's basketball right now.
Yeah.
It all started from the national championship game, and I've been dealing with this for 2 years now. And understanding, negative things have probably been said about me, but honestly, I'll take that because look where women's basketball is. People are talking about women's basketball that you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to games. We got celebrities coming to games, sold out arenas, like just because of one single game. And just looking at that, like, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me, too, and I want y'all to realize that. Like, it's not just because of one person. A lot of us have done so much for this game, and Kennedy has been here before, obviously, but there are so many great players in this league that have deserved this for a really, really long time, and luckily, it's coming.
You heard that right. Remember when Ray said she was going to transform women's basketball? Well, she's definitely changing something the channel viewers are tuning out faster than a bad sitcom, The Impact. She promised it's happening all right, just not in the way anyone expected.
She really believes that. She believed it then. She believed that they were started to watch her because of that one game. Maybe they watched her because of that one game. She ain't the reason they were watching the game, though. The reason people were watching that game was because of Caitlin Clark. And I think we've gone over this a million times already. Because Caitlin Clark was getting watched before that.
So what's the lesson here? Maybe it's time for less talk and more action. Instagram likes don't win games trash talk. Doesn't boost ratings at the end of the day. It's about what you do on the court and not what you say off it.
Wonder why no one is supporting their secondary dump. They wonder why no one is watching pretend basketball. Maybe if they focused on the actual basketball instead of focusing on their weird utopian fantasies, maybe their dump would be upgraded to a polished turd.
You know how they say actions speak louder than words. Well, there's one player whose actions are screaming so loud, she's drowning out everyone else in women's basketball. Caitlin Clark's not just winning games, she's winning over an entire sport. And get this, she's doing it all without even touching on red.
Now, TV ratings-wise, WNBA. I don't know how many million viewer games Angel Reese did this year without Caitlin Clark attached to it. I think one. I believe one.
Let's talk about what real star power looks like, because Clark's making waves that are turning into tsunamis. Every time she steps on a WNBA court, it's like someone flipped a switch. The ratings don't just go up, they explode. It's like she's got some kind of Midas touch. But instead of gold, everything she touches turns into viewership.
It's going to be history. It's like what I told her. That's pretty epic that we get to watch her, because not a lot of games here in Dallas with somebody that big of a...
You might be thinking, okay, but how big are we talking here? Well, hold on to your seats, because we're seeing numbers that are breaking records left and right. People who couldn't tell you the first thing about women's basketball a year ago are suddenly experts on pick and roll plays. And 3-point percentages, it's wild.
We had 30 years of evidence that proves Americans are not interested in women's basketball. They're interested in Caitlin Clark, which is why TNT offered her $1 million to join this polished turd. But in terms of the on-court product itself, people are not interested.
But here's where it gets really interesting. It's not just about the stats. Clark's impact goes way beyond the numbers on a screen. She's changing the whole game. You've got coaches singing her praises. Even when she's not on their team, can you believe that opposing fans are actually cheering for her? When was the last time you saw that happen?
Caitlin Clark is somebody that is going to probably, she's going to, I would say, be, in my opinion, the second favorite for MVP. I think she is going to be the second favorite for MVP in the WNBA. That is how confident I am in Caitlin Clark's year 2.
Now, let's compare that to what's going on in Unrivaled. Without Clark, it's like they're playing in an empty gym. The contrast is so stark, it's almost painful to watch. You've got one league where a single player can make ratings skyrocket, and another where, well, let's just say the excitement isn't exactly overflowing.
You guys don't remember? Angel Reese said she was also the draw. Did you guys forget about that? The hottest woman basketball player on the planet isn't involved in the Unrivaled, and weeks in, ratings are down under 100,000 viewers. So where's the lie? What am I missing?
You might be wondering, what if Clark joined Unrivaled? Would that save the league? It's a tempting thought, right? But here's the thing. Clark isn't just a player. She's an event. Every game she's in becomes must-see TV. That's what Unrivaled is missing. They don't just need players. They need stars who can make people care.
Caitlin Clark is selling out everywhere she goes. Last season, the WNBA had to move road games out of high school gyms into actual NBA arenas just to accommodate the demand. The main reason Unrivaled is failing, they have not given you a reason to watch.